Here we are with my makeshift headband. I'm going to do my best to show everything. Um, Again, always try and use a curved blade if you can, or something with like if you're using a box cutter, keep it short. Because you go too deep, that's really hard to explain to anyone that is at Best Buy or any other store. Yeah, I kind of cut everything in half. Oops, sorry. So we got our typical cellophane on the side here. Let's go ahead and peel that all off. I'm kind of curious how these are packaged. I know my last two unboxings were a little less climactic because the boxing's gotten really simple, unless it's something from Google where they're doing the showmanship. Um, Again, give you guys kind of the lowdown. This one is the model. I'm not sure what model it is. What's the 4 terabyte? I'll put the model in the description. That'll make it easier for everyone. I noticed that it lists Windows 8. I didn't see one right now that lists it does Windows 10. I don't really think for a solo cloud agent it's going to be a problem, but that's okay. Here we go. Opening it up. There you go. So what we got here is we got the power supply. This is a desktop version. The reason I chose this, even if I was going with a hard drive, just to let everybody know, is I thought about just going and having a small powered unit. But again, remember, there's only so much power going into the router. And if it's diverting energy to power a hard drive of any type, that's good on for accessing a movie or whatever. But if you're doing it regularly for backup, you're putting drain on those circuits and you're generating heat. So for that reason, I went ahead and went with a desktop. You'll probably find all of the standalones that way. We've got our cloud storage documentation with some pretty simple step instructions. If you know what you're doing, great. You won't need this. If you don't know what you're doing, great. You'll probably need this. And to be honest, if you know what you're doing, it's still good to have one of these around. And okay, next we've got Ethernet cable. Don't always have to include that. Most households have spare cables just flopping everywhere, but still appreciate it. Alright, let's go ahead and see what kind of power brick we're looking at here. Alright. What I like is most of the packaging is reusable or recyclable. I kind of really enjoy being less of the environmental problem. Standard brick. Not really a big deal. Alright. And now for the main unit itself. Wrapped in a protective scratch-resistant plastic. I usually leave this on until I absolutely. They never have these blocking events, so I like to leave them on until I know for sure I'm keeping unit. So this will stay on throughout all the tests. Now on the back, power supply, Ethernet, and USB. Now I read somewhere, and I don't know if it's this unit, but I read somewhere that this might be available for an expansion of another hard drive or another system, maybe a communication of these things. If so, that would be very, very impressive and kind of cool. I originally thought this was so that it could plug into your computer and work on either Ethernet or USB. Once I know for sure, I'll report that in my how it works kind of system. So there you go. We got a nice set of cooling vents on all the way around. I like that. I may still put some extra, like just a few extra stubs on the bottom here to get a little bit further off the ground, or 2 planks. But yeah, very much so far. I like this. This looks good, and this is their typical bookend one. It's actually meant to kind of sit on your bookshelf. Of course, you would never do that because you cut off all the airflow. So that's the unboxing. I'll stay tuned for a later video to see what I think of it and how the performance. Any questions? Let me know, and I'll get back as soon as I can.